All right, you're getting the flag today. Everybody be sure to register to vote. It's very important. And wow, I'm just seeing this really cool light beaming through right now. Oh, heavenly lights, our flag. Anyway, I am so excited for this episode with Brian Ross for his film The Letter, where he is going to cover a lot of choices that he made in making this film. Some of the highlights are character introductions, dynamic character introductions, as well as how to cover a lot of information in a short amount of time. And last but not least, juggling comedy with really dark themes. So take a look at Brian's breakdown through what I believe is about the first half of his film, The Letter.
Hi, my name is Brian Ross. I'm a writer, director, and editor, and a friend of Jason Silva, perhaps most importantly. So I was thrilled when he asked me to do an episode of Choices. I've actually seen, I think, every episode so far. I've learned a lot, so I was really stoked to be a part of it. Plus, it gave me a reason to shower, which has not happened very much during the pandemic, but I'm excited to do it and excited to talk to you about my short film, The Letter. The Letter is a dark comedy about a heartbroken New Yorker who can't even get his suicide letter right. The challenge for me was being respectful of the subject matter of suicide and mental illness while also having a playful tone that actually incorporated some comedy. So that's where we're going to start. Try to establish that tone right off the bat in the suicide letter where we open. We're very tight on the words, on the text, which I really liked as an opening. As he's going through his suicide letter, it's very traditional, very poetic, very elegant, but then he realizes he's not even sure how to format a letter, which I think a lot of people don't know how to do in 2020. But I like this opening because it provided a lot of fast-paced exposition and was kind of threw the suicide letter motif on its head. Opening on this shot was a big choice. Initially, we were going to start with Shane, the actor, awaking in his bed. But then when we saw this shot, I thought it was a better and more dynamic character intro, which I like having a big intro for your characters. And we got this shot, which was beautifully pulled off by our cinematographer, Matt Klammer, after many, many takes. It was not easy to do. The idea here with these series of close-ups, you get an idea of who the writer is in a very short amount of time. He wants everything to be clean, tidy, and in order on this last day. He has this idea of what the last day of his life is going to be. He does not want to deviate from what that plan is, but we get a lot of that information in those close-ups. Another big choice we made was this location. It was a loft in Brooklyn. I actually lived there for a period of time when I lived in Bushwick. And the reason for that choice was it was free. It was a free location, but I loved it as a backdrop. Here, as the writer walks outside, he gets overwhelmed by the ambience and cacophony of New York. So he puts in his headphones, kind of gets lost in his music, lost in his own thoughts, which I think a lot of New Yorkers can do. I know it was kind of something that I struggled with. But the idea being you're kind of set in your own ways, lost in your thoughts. We see that here as he's walking towards the camera. He's in the straight line. His framing doesn't change where the background changes dramatically. Again, he's not even seeing the outside world. He's locked in his ways, locked in his path. As he walks home, we see the dog. I've never directed a dog before. Not easy, but dog was great. Very professional dog. I think he's going to make a real splash in Hollywood. I love the head tilt here, but this is kind of the first time his day is not going according to plan and things are starting to change. As he comes back inside, he is struggling to express himself in the letter. A lot of pressure in a suicide letter in your last piece of work or writing that you leave behind before you pass. And he just can't seem to express himself right. He's struggling with that. Something that I really liked was, what's one of the worst things that can happen if you're writing your suicide letter, you run out of ink. So as he's running out of ink, his narration has now the volume has gone down. The word is very faint. His volume is very faint. He then has to go to a Sharpie, and he has this big, bold text after he realizes he doesn't have any other pens. He has this big, bold, ugly text, and he has this big, loud narration. Then he sees this letter, and it's just not what he had envisioned. So he's very frustrated, and he's forced to go to our big location, a copy shop in New York, where he's printing out a suicide letter, which, you know, if you're an artist, that's the last thing you want to do is have a printed out suicide letter. But I like this as a character introduction for Rosalie. She holds up the flyer of the dog we saw earlier, and you just see this kind of sliver of her eyes. She's a mysterious woman who you're going to kind of learn more about, but I like that character introduction for her. Something early on we were doing was all of those shots, those close-ups, everything in the apartment to this point has been on a tripod. It's been very static, kind of symmetric, well composed, and then once he meets Rosalie and his day kind of goes sideways, it's all handheld, very frenetic. We see John, our producer there, that's John Bowling. He gets the flyer taped to his back, and this kind of gives Rosalie a reason to want to stick around the writer. You see the handhold there, and he now has a reason to stay with her. And that's where I'm going to leave you, as the writer is going to be taken on this adventure with Rosalie, and the day that he had envisioned has been turned on its head as he helps her find her dog. And he'll have to make the choice. Does he go through with the suicide, or can Rosalie save him? So that's it. That was so quick. It was very fun. Hopefully you got some information there. Hopefully you had a good time. I know I did, and I appreciate it. So again, my name is Brian Ross. That was The Letter, and this is Choices. So thanks so much, guys. Bye.
Awesome. I hope you enjoyed that. So please, if you would like to see more or just to support us with good karma, hit like, hit subscribe, comment down below in the comments section if you have any specific questions or requests, and have a great day.